Today, on my tech shop, Tuesday Tech Shop, we're going to be going over the Alienware Area-51, and you're probably asking, Omar, you already did that. No, guys, there's so much story that goes behind the Area-51. Last time we had Josh Probst, we talked about industrial design. Today, we have Chris Helberg.
We're going to talk about the airflow and thermal management of the system.
Yep, and what is your occupation? I know they can see the name tag, but what's your occupation?
I'm a thermal engineer, so...
Engineer, but on your nameplate I put architect.
Yeah, no,
I put you at a whole different tier. Okay?
Yeah, it's very similar.
Yes.
Right, so you got the engineer and you have the architect. So the way Dell defines our roles is we do the upfront, the innovation, the grounds-up design. For instance, on this, we started with a kind of a blank canvas. Right?
Yeah.
It was a new form factor.
Yep. Was it exciting to see this new form factor, like just get presented in front of you and think, oh man? Was it more like, oh man, negative, or oh man, this might get pretty interesting?
When the ID team, Josh, came to us with this idea, we kind of, I have to design the system to guarantee the thermal health.
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I going to do this? It's very, it's a triangle. So it's something we hadn't done before, we hadn't thought of before. Always excited to do new form factors and new designs. It was more of kind of like, oh man, here we go again.
Yeah.
But excited to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. A lot of stuff we do never makes it to market.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of concepts that we come up with, and we'll go and build prototypes and prove out the feasibility, but it, for some reason or another, it just doesn't make it. So whenever something like this comes up, we're not sure, but we put all hands on deck and figure it out.
Yeah. So you were talking about how many prototypes go and they never see the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that are in Miami, you could probably reach out to John or Ernie on Twitter, and there's actually like a board of like prototypes that are
really?
there, like that never happened.
Oh wow!
Right. So I don't know if there's anything like that here. I haven't seen one, but yeah, in the Miami office we have like a whole museum where we have all of our old cases and stuff like that, and some of like the prototype drawings and concepts. So it's pretty cool to go there and see some of that.
That
stuff.
is cool. I have a system.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. But I built a system and I put in. It's pretty much an AC unit. So we wanted to subcool the cards, the graphics cards. We were running them at full power, and the GPU TJ was 10C.
Yeah.
So we kept it below ambient, and of course that didn't make it to market. But it was just we were having fun trying to figure out what we could do. But we had an air conditioning system hooked up to one of our Area-51 systems, the predecessor to this.
An actual like a home.
It was a mini version of one.
Okay.
It was just enough to.
Yeah.
It didn't need. I can't remember the units. But it didn't need, you didn't need a whole one that would cool a house, but we just needed something that would cool the CPU and the two GPUs, and we put them in a single loop, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I used to, before I came back to Alienware, I used to look up like battle stations and things people did to increase the thermals in their systems and stuff like that. And not a lot of people, but there were people that did like PVC pipe kind of thing that like held their motherboard and stuff together. And on the side was like this cradle that would come in, and it was just this huge fan that just came in and just blew tons of air into their system. That doesn't make sense, right? You're just blowing air and it's going nowhere, right?
Yeah, kind of. You don't know what's going on. It's kind of just like a brute force approach, right? So, So when we do design our systems, the case is part of our airflow containment, right? So we on the Area-51, it's a front to back airflow design, right? We positively pressurize the system with 120 by 38 millimeter fans. So we have one in the top, and then one underneath this first handle, and then we have a third location. We call the mid fan here, but you could go in and you can add a fan if you want for aftermarket, or we also kept it there for. That's where we put when we do graphics liquid cooling. It comes with a fan already assembled, and we put it up there.
Yeah.
And
speaking on that aftermarket portion, that's something that a lot of I'm just gonna say it, our competitors, they don't want you opening up their cases. I know this because I used to do performance testing, and every time I went to look at a competitor system, there's a sticker that says, don't open it. You're going to avoid your warranty. This system here that I have here, this is a brand new system. I took this straight out of a box, right? There's nothing here that says don't open your system. You can open up your system.
Yep.
There aren't cages that lock in anything. You can slide out the hard drives. You can slide out the solid states. You can take out the memory, everything. You can take apart this whole thing. You can put in your own fans. That area that you were talking about, where you can go ahead and put in your own fan in there.
Yeah.
If you wanted a different thermal cooling solution on your system, like, we're okay with you doing that.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, that's okay.
Yeah, and then even on the liquid cooling side, you could add a different liquid cooler if you wanted. We made it to where there's enough depth to add a thicker radiator or fan,
Yeah.
and still not interfere with the memory. So,
And one thing I'm going to do, just so there's more for people to look at, let's
open it up.
let's open up this case. And by the way, Josh showed last time, both panels are interchangeable, so if one's scratched and you got, one side against the wall or something like that, you can just take that off. And let's actually turn this a little bit. I don't have my glass table this time, guys, so I'm balancing this on a shipping box. Actually, let's turn it this way. I think it's easier to look at. There we go. Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, I was kind of saying on the liquid cooling portion, there's a little bit more depth that you can add. So maybe you want to do a dual 25 millimeter axial fans instead of the 120 by 38, or put an aftermarket solution that's a little bit thicker. You can put that in without interfering with the memory. So we're trying to future-proof it for our customers, or for maybe something that comes in the future where we want to overclock more or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so so when we started the stream, I had a graphic up that showed blue air coming in from one side, red air coming out at the other end. Now so the system sucks in air from the front, right?
Yep.
The front is basically where it's going to suck in air. And what is the purpose of that? What is the purpose of that? For those that don't realize, they probably just think it's the fans that do everything. It's just it spins, boom, and it goes out. Like, that's it. What is, can you run us through the whole airflow design behind this?
Yeah, so it is, all airflow comes through the front of the system. So since we put fans up front, we call it positively pressurized. So what does that mean? We push airflow into the system, and we want to ensure that whatever components in the system need airflow, it's there available to it. So we know how much airflow this GeForce, these two graphics cards need, right? So we ensure that this fan provides airflow to those cards, so we don't choke them. So we keep them, thermally healthy. Also, pulling airflow in from the outside in, it's ambient temperature. We don't want it. There's a lot of preheat that goes into the system, and if we pull it in the front and then you don't have a lot of T-rise, I guess, so your system components don't get hot. So, so then, say your CPU fan blows it out the back, or you have your PSU fan that blows it out the back, and then your graphics cards also exhaust air at the back of the system.
Yeah, and because of the design, hot air doesn't come back in. Normal cases, it's pretty much just rectangular. You have it against the wall. For the most part, some of that hot air that comes out goes back in to your system, gets back in. And a lot of your most vital things to a gaming performance system, your graphics card, your power supply, they're right there in the back. So they're eating that hot air back in. But with this design, this is just pushing up and out. Like, this is going out.
It goes up and out.
Yeah.
And not only does it go up and out, that wall, we call a pressure impedance. So if the fan has to overcome that additional back pressure that the wall is having, it'll run hotter, or the fan has to run faster, So with this triangle design, we reduce the back pressure to all the blowers, or to all the fans in the system.
And with so much room within the system itself, like this system inside, there is a lot of space within this system.
Yes.
A lot of the time, like the power supply is like right up here at this portion. So when you're trying to put in like your processor and your heat sink or your liquid cooling, it's kind of a pain because it's in the way. But everything here is like nice and totally out of the way for you here. And not only that, you have the air coming through. It's pushing everything straight out, And some of the design, and I remember you were walking me through the design here on the graphics card, this gap.
Yeah.
You wanted to correct something that was said last time from Josh. So what is what is it that happened there with that gap? Why is that gap there?
So one of the things we found is that, and don't want to. So if the graphics card vendors follow PCI spec,
Yeah.
so they have a certain height they have to stay within, right? Well, if they maximize the thickness of the cards
Mm-hmm.
For PCI spec, and then based on the slot widths, there's only a 1.6 millimeter gap between those two cards. So if you put the cards in slots 1 and slots 3, there could only be 1.6 millimeter gap. Very, very small.
Yeah.
Right? So what we did from the thermal team, we said, you know what, we want to put the cards in slots 1, and then what we call slot 4, and then slot 7 if you have if you're going to do three-way, which gave us 20 millimeters of gap between each card. Like I was talking about before, you know, if you have something, if you put the wall up against your fan, you reduce the back, you increase the back pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting cool air into the cards, not a lot of back pressure into them. So it pretty much just is more of an optimal thermal approach than having them side by side.
Pretty much sandwiched right next to each other.
Yeah.
Yep. And one of the things about the Area-51, for those of you that aren't aware, so this can use dual SLI NVIDIA cards. That's what the 10 series. We don't know if there's an 11 series or what they might change and go back to that triple SLI. Right now, if you want to do triple cards, you can go with the AMD cards, and you can do a triple crossfire setup on your system. And this system has enough thermal headroom to handle that. And talking about thermal headroom, being able to look at your sensors, handling fan curves and stuff like that. We have a software that's implemented on all Alienware computers, but some of them have different features that are excluded from others. On the Area-51, this actually has a thermal control, right?
Yeah.
In the Alienware Command Center. Can you run us through kind of like what that was, like what it is?
Yeah, so the Alienware Command Center has the thermal control built in to where you can do your own fan curves. Say that when you're playing a video game, you kind of want your GPU temperature to run cooler, so you can actually go in there and manually set that fan to run whatever RPM you want it to run, right? Or you can map it to different thermal sensors in the box. So you can set the fan curve up to say, hey, if my GPU sensor starts getting hot, I want my fan to ramp faster, right? Than what we've programmed, right? So I mean, it gives you guys the customization to do what you want. There's a lot of forums that we read and say, hey, when I was running when I was playing a video game, my graphics card was running at 70C, and then I added an aftermarket fan, and I was able to speed it up, and I got it to run at 50 degrees C. So that's kind of what we're trying to do for you guys, right? We want you guys to be able to speed up the fans whenever you want, or you can keep them quiet and make it to where they don't ramp at all. It's not a good thing, but but we kind of give you the ability to either to do what you want.
Yeah.
But I can also talk about, you talked about the thermal headroom. We can support those cards. We actually we pushed the system to the limits before, to limits past what we'll ever ship.
Yeah.
Right? So
because there's certain things we can ship, and there's certain things that we can't ship. Just because you see it on the website and that's what it shows there, that's not the full potential. The full potential is up to you, and you can do it. Or go ahead, Chris. Tell them how crazy things can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1500 watt PSU in the high end version of this system, right? And I don't know if we do 300 watt cards in this from a retail point of view, but we went and we validated 350 watt cards.
Wow.
Yeah, so we went and we ran them all full tilt, max TGP, and ensured that we could meet the thermal health of the system. And when I say thermal health, that means everything: hard drives, memory, CPU, power supply, and then all the way down to all the motherboard components. Right? We have a thermocouple, which is we have a temperature probe, epoxy to all of our VR components when we do our thermal validation. So it's got this big nest of cables coming out of the system. And
and we
monitor all the temperature of all those devices,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure they meet their thermal spec. And we do that all the way up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So we cannot throttle.
Wait. So 95 degrees Fahrenheit, not
90?
Celsius. Celsius is normally what people go for when they're benchmarking and stuff like that.
35C.
You're talking about 35C.
35C.
Yeah.
So we run this system at 35C in a thermal chamber,
Yeah.
monitoring all the components, and we run this full thermal suite that includes memory, stress, hard drive, CPU, GPU combo, whatever, and we make sure that the system. We don't just make sure the system meets thermal. We make sure it does not throttle.
Yeah.
Right. We don't let the CPU or GPU throttle during these tests. So that's why you kind of see these big fans, these 120 by 38 millimeter fans, because that's their. I don't know if some people, I guess some of these Alienware fans will understand that the max airflow that comes out of these fans is 165 CFM.
Yeah.
If you go to like Fry's, and a lot of times those fans at Fry's are 100
They
CFM,
don't
90
sell.
CFM.
Yeah.
They don't sell that type. Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to come by. So, but that's why we have to do it, because we're validating this thing up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius, and ensuring that it meets the performance that we're
trying to send out to these guys. Yeah. So with this system, with the Area-51, because of its thermal headroom and its ability to go further than what we ship. So there's certain specs, and I've explained this a couple times on Twitter, on Twitch, on Reddit. I've explained it many times. There's certain things you can ship to people that meet certain warranties and also guarantees with manufacturers and stuff like that. But before this system shipped, I had a task. And this is my editing system, which is now the system that streams the whole thing, our whole room. That system, they wanted me to get that thing shipped and ready for a 5.0 gigahertz overclock.
Yep.
Like, ship that out to customers. I got it to work one time. One time for a while, but that is a huge overclock.
Yeah.
And this is without me using liquid metal cooling. This is with me without using Freon or anything else. Yeah. But you can. It's totally capable to do all that, to have all those additions onto the system itself.
Yeah, and we do have preset values for factory, what we call factory overclocked. I think we have OC1 and OC2 levels, but again, those levels are designed around to not throttle at 35 degrees.
Yeah.
So if you're in a room environment of 25 C, there's additional 10 degrees of margin that you're going to have. And so, if you get your system and you're stressing a lot, you're like, well, my system's not even getting hot. That's one reason it might be, is because we're not.
Yeah.
We've designed this for an extreme environment.
Yeah.
I am curious though to see. We did 350 watts, no throttle. If anybody has done anything else to push it to its limits.
Yeah.
Is that something we can?
That's an activity that I've wanted to do. So on Steam, the gaming platform, gaming client distribution platform. I don't know what name they want to go by with what they do, but they have 3D Mark, and they have all their benchmarks, all the FirmArk benchmarks on there, and you get achievements actually for getting a certain score while using the software. I actually wanted to take an Area-51 and see how many benchmarks, achievements I can actually obtain through it. Yeah. And if any other Alienware community members wanted to do that and show me their achievements on Steam for 3D Mark, like, let's do it. We can share it on our social media and stuff like that. Call out, maybe you have your own YouTube or Twitch. We can go ahead and promote you and see what kind of beating you can give the your Area-51, and share that with people.
Yeah.
Let's see what questions we have here, because we got a ton of questions. Is this system upgradable? So if you look inside here in the side panel, you see there aren't hard clips. There's a lot of computers. I used to do IT, so I used to go through a lot of different vendors, and I used to get lots of different systems. A lot of systems are clipped. You can't take out certain things. For the most part, you can probably take out the memory for most systems. This, you can do everything. You can literally take this whole thing apart. John, Ernie, and I, when this system was first getting ready to go out for marketing reviews and stuff like that, we had the case. We had the case, and we put all the parts in, ourselves manually. There are no clips, nothing holds it down. This is a brand new system. This is a system shipped from the factory to me. This isn't something that I built on my own. This is how it ships. There's no clips or anything that are held down. You can take out everything.
And we use the standard ATX power supply. We went away from custom power supplies, something that was fed back to us. We do standard ATX size motherboard or mounting for it. Yeah, it's even take the PSU, and the PSU has it's not a hard. There's no pigtails coming in. Oh yeah, no pig. It's all pluggable, so you can change out those cables. Yeah, so it's something that's something that when we did our Area-51, I guess was R1. Some of the feedback we received, and so we implemented on R2.
See what other question we got here. We got, do you have to insert cooling fluid? I mean, the first time you set up your liquid cooling pump, some of them come with the liquid already in it when they ship it to you. I remember a long time ago. So I started at Alienware a long time ago, and I actually handled the depot stuff for a little bit.
Yeah.
And whenever people would send in their systems because they wanted aftermarket upgrades and stuff like that through us, I had to sit there with the little vial and put in the liquid and then tie it up, take the little metal rings and close it up. But some liquid cooling pumps now come with the liquid inside. You just kind of set it up, and that's it. Depends on which ones you buy.
Yeah, this one's closed loop for this guy right here, right? So we have closed loop liquid cooling. So it's the CPU. It has the cold plate on top of it, and it runs back to the rear fan. But yeah, it's a closed loop system. I think it'd be cool to go to a reservoir style system to where you could add in aftermarket stuff. I think that's pretty cool that you guys had a system that did that. Yeah, it was cool. It was a pain in the butt, though. Yeah. When you had to do that for like 10 systems in one day, it was a pain. Is there a reason there seems to be a decent amount of dead space? Oh. Huh. I guess you put 300 watt cards in there. Then we'll see. I don't think there'll be much dead spaces. Yeah. It is. I mean, it is. I guess the system is upgradable. There's a lot of room to put bigger, more powerful cards in. But also, we want to keep it open for airflow paths. The more open, the better. The lower T-rise into the system. When I say T-rise, I mean like there's a bunch of heat going on inside the system, and what we call T-rise is the differential temperature from the outside to the inside of the box. We want to keep that temperature very low. And for example, when you look at the CPU, to maximize your overclock ability, you want that T-rise to be as close to 1 or 0 as possible. When we on this system with this triangle design, what it really helped us enable was just into the CPU. When the fans are running full speed, there's only a 1.6 degree T-rise. Standard T-rises are more. Really good ones 4 degrees. Typical is probably more like 6, and we're at 1.2 or 1.6. I don't remember the number, but it's very, very low. So it did. So that's, that to answer your question, there is some open space for airflow to get through the system. But if a part messed up, okay, not sure we missed this or answered it, but if a part is messed up or is lacking behind the average, would the warranty fix it? Kind of. It's a little bit of a mixed up question. I'm going to assume what you're saying is, say you got your system and your memory's not performing the way it should be. There's lots of diagnostics tools that ship with our systems that you can run. They'll let you know if your memory passes a test. There's CPU tests. I don't know if there's a GPU test in the diagnostic tool. I think there is, just to validate if it's working and not artifacting and stuff like that. But yes, if you call into our support and there is an issue that is brought up with a diagnostic, or even if you have pictures that show you using like Hardware Info 32, you guys have seen me use that on stream a couple times on our notebooks to look at the thermals and stuff like that. If you have that, send those pictures in with whichever support agent you're working with. They can determine, is this an issue with the system, or is it just some user issue, because a lot of people do their own overclocking and stuff like that, certain changes to the system.
But yeah, it's case by case. Very loaded question.
But there's quite an improvement in T-Rise. What's he saying now? My Manta probably has a 5C, 5, but I've got... Okay, cool. He's just saying that the T-Rise into the CPU is pretty low is what I think he's saying, yeah.
Oh, hey, John. I've only been talking about you 100 times in the stream. Welcome. Let's take a quick look. I know there was other questions.
What is closed cooling? Is that a
yeah, it keeps scrolling down because if someone says something. Depends what specs. What is closed loop cooling? Can you explain that?
Really, we just, it's just a term we use where it's a sealed system. Closed loop means it's all enclosed within this
the component of
cold plate, pump, tubing. There's no way to get inside that system without breaking the loop.
Not the system itself.
I'm sorry.
The thermal system of the liquid cooling component.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. Exactly. The liquid cooling unit. Okay. Yeah. The liquid cooling unit is a closed loop system.
Yeah.
And versus what Umar was saying, as you have we have a reservoir where you add fluid to it.
Yeah.
That's not what we have in this system. I have done many mock-ups, prototypes of those reservoir systems, and none of them have made it to market. But we've had a bunch of those made.
They're a little scary, only because of the potential. They have a higher potential of leaking compared to a closed loop system.
Yes.
There's people a long time ago, back in the old days. If only I had like a flashback kind of like graphic, but I used to get systems back where it shipped to them and the liquid cooling pump burst. They had their system liquid everywhere, messed up, and it was a huge pain in the butt. And that was a long time ago. This was like back in 2000. I can't believe 2006 was a long time ago. 2006. I used to, one of the common things that people used to say versus liquid cooling versus air cooled was, if you have liquid cooling, you have to deal with the potential of leaks. Yeah. Like, that is going to mess up your system, right?
Yeah.
That's not so much a discussion anymore, especially with these closed loop systems. But the reservoir system, while it's cool and it's awesome and it's another, the freedom of customization that you can get, it's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
you don't want to risk that chance unless you're the kind of person that's constantly monitoring your system.
Yeah, totally agree. And it's just opening up that reservoir always gets a chance to spill water inside your system, and it can get messy.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Turn the case so we can see the front. Okay.
I'm gonna move the mic.
Yeah, just go. Oh God. So. How's that look? Okay, yeah, that's good. So that's the front of the case. So the air comes in through here, goes whoop, all these big fans, which you can't see now, but I'm doing it with my hand, then pushes out through the back of the system. Let's see. I'm still waiting. Exelon, I'll answer your question when I'm at the computer. I can't do it right now on the stream. Troubleshoot that. I need a giant Lazy Susan. I did have a giant Lazy Susan in Miami, but not here. Just like a car every day, you need to check for leaks. I don't check my car for leaks every day. Are there 140 millimeter fans all around?
We have 120 millimeter fans all around, and then so we always try to future proof our systems, and this front fan and this front bottom fan here, I'm gonna turn it back so I can kind of point it out. There we go. This fan right here, we'd have to put a new part in, or maybe you guys can go put a new part in. That can go up to a 150 millimeter fan. We didn't put it in there because we didn't need it to cool the system, but maybe a couple years from now we want to drop in a 150 by 38 in there or whatever is available, we can. So, but right now our system's equipped with 120 by 38 fans.
So here's a question: ever consider including removable dust filters for the intake fans? Has that ever been anything that's ever been brought up? I used to have a system that used to do that. I used to have like a little tray that I could pull out and just clean it.
Yeah.
But it didn't really add anything to the system.
It always being considered, just
Yeah.
answer your question, but it's very, anytime you put a filter in front of your fans, you add system impedance. The system impedance reduces your thermal performance of it. You get dust. Dust
It's
starts
now
accumulating.
collected in one
it's now
area.
in one. Our recommendation, especially to our Alienware customers, is open the system and use an air
just
can.
use an air can.
That's just. I mean, these things do pull a lot of air in them for good reason, which if it's gonna pull some dust in, it's gonna collect on the inside. But yeah, blow it out every once in a while. We can't. But we much prefer that method over adding that dust filter.
Now, a question that came up yesterday I believe it was on Alienware Arena, and why'd the fans turn off? Why'd the lights turn off? We're right here, and Anna's there doing stuff.
I literally just turned my head and it turned on.
It turned on just because you turned your head. Okay. So, a question that came up, I believe it was on Arena, was, so this guy wanted better airflow on his system. I don't know if he had an Alienware or not, but he took off the side panel, and he thinks that that's helping with his system's thermal performance. What do you have to say to that? Because I know a lot of people do that without much evidence of performance increase.
Yeah, so we would not, if we took the side panel off the system, we would overheat on some of our components, right?
Because cool air is not being directed within the case; it's just escaping out. Right?
Yes, so the side panels are part of our ducting system, right? So we don't want, if we're blowing air into the system, and you take that side panel off, the air can just escape right out. Yeah, the GPU might be cooler if you take, or some component might be a little bit cooler if you take that, take the side panel off, but the VR, we don't have active temperature monitoring happening on the VR, which means your caps, your FETs, your inductors. How do you know you're getting airflow over them? So what we do is we're keeping the side panels on. We know we're getting airflow because we did add temperature sensors to all of those components during validation.
So the answer is don't take off your panel. It's part of the solution.
Yeah, I mean.
Let's see. So this is an AMA. So you guys can ask Chris or myself anything. And I'm going to ask you, Chris.
All right.
And I talked about this yesterday and you didn't give me an answer, which is fine. Because now we can find out today live. What's your favorite kind of pizza?
My favorite pizza. Well, being in Austin, we have a lot of options,
There are a lot of options.
So we try different places, and I have this thing where it's like, to go to restaurants and I look at the vegetarian menu.
Yeah.
And the vegetarian menu has really good flavors, and then you add meat to whatever they have on there. So I do that. There's a margarita pizza at a place called Local Slice.
Yeah.
And I add steak and chicken to it.
Look at this. You're so adventurous.
Yeah, man. It's.
I need to eat pizza
good.
with you. I always eat pizza with people that are. So I said this on Twitter. A lot of people that eat pizza, they're soft.
Or they just want the cheese?
They just want cheese.
Oh.
Like that's for like a little kid party. That's not what that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about seeing what you can do. Take it to the limits. Be inventive and imaginary, and just have fun.
And yours is your
Mine
favorite
is.
pizza?
I don't have a favorite one because I haven't been able to find someone that'll go with me on that next adventurous step. Because you go someone and they're like, yeah, no, I like crazy pizza. Crazy pizza, then they put green peppers on it, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Don't be like that.
Yeah.
Let's throw ranch or something on there. I don't even like ranch. We'll throw it on there and see if it works with this taste. Little Caesar deep dish is surprisingly good. Pizza Hut stuffed crust.
And to fan, now what if I...
What if you could turn the side panels into fans? I don't know if that would necessarily help, right? Like, the way that this is designed, it's for this air to come in through here and come out. Having air just push against it, I don't see what that's going to do, especially because our side panels don't have, vents on them.
Yeah. I think that if you took the side panel
Mm-hmm.
and you Frank Azor.
Hey, look, it's Frank Azor.
Hey,
Oh, he can't get in.
fearless
Don't let him
leader.
in. Don't let Frank in. We're live. Go away. All right, Frank's coming in. Hi, Frank.
Hi.
We're live.
Isn't this my broadcast studio and I'm not allowed into my own broadcast studio?
Why doesn't your badge work? Your badge should open up everything. I don't know if
No.
your hand was showing
It's our
up.
fearless leader.
Come, Frank. There you go.
Just came to say hello. Miss you guys.
Hey, Frank.
Okay. Everybody's upstairs in new hearing.
Well,
Oh,
let's
really?
see what's the next one.
Well,
What
I
are you
didn't.
guys doing?
I was going to finish that question. We're just
Yes, so
talking
the side
about
panel fans. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
talking about airflow,
Yeah.
and
Airflow
thermal
and
health
thermal
of the
management
system. Yeah.
on the good old Area-51.
You got the right guy for that.
Yeah.
So we had a side
Don't
panel
let me kill your
question.
momentum, guys.
And now Leonard's in. Hi,
Hey,
Leonard.
Leonard.
Hello. Hello, gentlemen.
So to answer the question about the side panel, if you took a fan and you're blowing in, right? So and you ducted it so you don't get any recirc coming outside, and you want to blow perpendicular to the cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be something you'd see maybe some benefit on, right? Look, you would see some. We did it, right?
Yeah.
When we architected this, we built this with side fans. So you can do that. It will give you some benefit. So it's something that you'll have to plug it into the motherboard. So every time you open the case, you'll have a cord unplugged. But yeah, you can do that.
Yep. So let's see here. If I have battery issues, okay, so this is about laptop, but I can answer this. If I have battery issues on my Alienware laptop, can I almost sneezed? Can I order a new battery and insert it, or should I send it in? So your battery is warranted. So a lot of people don't actually read the warranty, just like end user license
Yeah.
and agreement for stuff. So when you buy your system, you have, I believe it's 1 year warranty on the battery. The battery has a 1 year warranty. Your system has a 1 year warranty unless like you get a 3 year, but it's a separate warranty. The battery is a separate warranty. So if you're having issues with your battery and you're 1 year in, just call support. They can probably hook you up with a brand new battery. If you don't want to go through that, yes, you can buy a new battery, insert it, and try it out and see if that works. But free is always better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every time NVIDIA Experience updates, every time NVIDIA Experience updates, it disables SLI. Can you suggest a way to keep SLI
I
running?
mean, I didn't want to say that.
That's more of a question for NVIDIA. I don't have a tip or trick for that on how to keep it going, because I think that it just defaults, every time it does an update, it just defaults to its previous configuration, its normal one. And that's probably why SLI gets disabled. So I would highly suggest maybe reaching out to NVIDIA on Twitter and see what they have to say.
There's another.
How can I get my Area-51 VR ready with the same parts I already have? You should be able to have your Area-51 already VR ready. If you let me know like the graphics card you have and the
Processor.
and the processor. I
be
mean,
ready.
most of the configurations for this is like it's VR ready.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Unless you ordered it with like I think there was like a configuration in the beginning that had like 750 cards or something like that. Like, but it was an SLI. Even then, I think that should be capable of handling it. But let's see. What does the top dead space part do again in terms of airflow?
Are you talking this part here?
I think I don't know. Are you guys talking about this, the handle? Because this is a handle. That's what this is. If you're talking about, there's nothing else.
Yeah,
There's
it has
nothing
to be
else
the
dead.
handle.
It has to be the handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a handle.
Handle.
Just a simple old handle.
Yeah. So that's what ID wanted, 3 of these handles, and
Yeah.
makes it easier to tilt away.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do any updates to your rear I/O, you can pull it back.
That's pretty much how I spend half my time editing because I have so many different hard drives and inputs. I just have my hand on the system. I just keep pulling it up, plug in, plug in.
Does it make it
unplug.
easier?
It makes it easier. It makes it
Okay.
easier because before I used to have to like if you have carpet, like if you put it down on carpet or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, it's hard to drag it forward.
Okay.
So, and even then, it was just annoying because then you hear it scratching on the floor or something like that. This, I can just lift it up, and I just have everything there, and I can just plug it in. It's a lot less of a headache. You don't even have to stand up. That's where he keeps the radiator. Oh, they're talking about the radiator area.
Oh.
That's what they were talking about, yeah.
Squid pizza.
Right there.
Saffron aioli.
So they're asking if what's this area here? That's to keep airflow or keep the path clear for the airflow to go into the radiator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't want to block that area because
No, you don't
that'll
want
that's your CPU cooling.
Let's see. Why? Scroll down. Why aren't you wearing nicer Alienware shirts? Oh, wait, what? This is using the new ID and everything.
No, because
This is
engineering.
engineering team.
Custom made.
Yeah, your opinion's
You're on
wrong.
old vid. You're not on the new
I
vid.
know.
This is my only one with the new stuff.
You know why? It's because engineering's always late.
Oh.
They're late to the new vid.
I'll walk out of here with some
Anyway,
new swag.
we're gonna go offline real quick so Chris and Frank can fight it out. Oh shoot. Okay, does Chris know that Marcy tried to
I'm
fill
like the
up?
live audience heckling you.
You're heckling
We got a
us.
troll. We had a live troll.
Don't make me go creamer on you. Does Chris know that Marcy tried to fill up a 3D printed mug on top of an Aurora? She tried to do that for real?
Printed mug on top of an Aurora.
She filled it
I
with
haven't
top
printed
of
my
water
3D
and it
mug yet.
leaked everywhere.
Don't fill it up with water.
Why?
It spills out at the top, like where the top handle part is. It'll start spilling out.
Where is it? You have it here?
Yeah, there's one right there.
What
Just
do you mean it spills out?
it spills out. Lenard tried it, and I said, "Do it not in your computer." She's like, "Oh no, I trust him."
You
And
mean
then
it overspills if you fill it too much?
no,
Or?
like
It's got a hole.
there's like a hole somewhere.
Because you
and
guys
like,
don't know how to 3D print shit.
It filled. It,
Dude,
well,
there's
a community member printed them out.
It was the
and it-
funniest thing.
Yeah, it started spilling out. And we started panicking and just grabbing towels and stuff from everywhere.
Really?
And just yeah.
Oh, I see a hole down here.
That's probably where it
didn't
is.
seal correctly down there. It looks like. Oh, and then there's a. Yeah, I see what happened. There's
It
a hole
wasn't
down
on this
there.
one.
There's a hole in the inside, and it seems to be filling into there. You can see it. in
Yeah.
there.
Maybe she'll.
That's interesting.
So it's one of the user or one of the.
Yeah, when
community
they
member
went
made
to,
this.
I forgot what
Community
event
members?
that they
That's
went to,
awesome.
but yeah, a community member gave him 3D printed mugs and told Lenard, "Hey, fill it up." I told Lenard, I think it's a trick. He shouldn't do it, and then he did it, and then it started spilling everywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. Shouldn't be too hard to fix. It
Okay,
looks
so
like you needed to put a support down here. That's what happened. It was printing in midair
Yeah,
because this is actually a little bit elevated. That's what it looks like.
thicken the handle a little bit.
let's see. I bought
printed
Alienware
mine
2
yet.
years ago, and I was able to record myself. Oh, okay, cool. I don't know how that didn't get censored, but let's go ahead. Let's click this and let's just kind of.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just gonna ban
You're just banned them, okay?
you. Yeah.
What's RIP Frank's experience?
Bye.
With the mug, if you decided to put water in it.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, Voldemort. I didn't even notice that either until I started reading it out. Let's see.
This is going weak, Umar. Come on, man. Keep the momentum going.
We've been talking about this for 51
Why do you have one
minutes.
pant leg up? Or is this like a gangster thing you're
No,
wearing?
because I went to Tampa on the weekend and I have so many bug bites and just
You have
super
bed bugs?
itchy. No mosquitoes were
Oh.
biting me. So
Okay.
also I'm part of a gang. Okay. Oh, you guys were talking about the mug. Sorry, I had to say it all. Yeah, Browncoat's the one that created the mug. He's the one with the mystical riddle that tricked Lenard. Hi, John. Thanks for caps locking my name. Dezu. Cool. So you've been playing. So I know you've been playing League of Legends, right? That's pretty much your game of choice.
Yeah.
So I was updating that for you yesterday so that we can put them on the PCs here. Did you know that they changed the client?
Yeah.
They
saw
changed the
they
client. I think it was
changed the
yesterday,
client.
right?
Yeah.
That's a good day for me to update it because I was like, yes, thank God. Because then normally they update games on Tuesdays. I don't know if Riot does it on Tuesdays. I know normally games do big updates on Tuesdays, especially new releases of games on Tuesdays. But thank God it was on Monday that they did the client change. I would have hated to have downloaded that today.
Nice.
But how long have you been playing League of Legends?
2012 maybe 2013, a long time.
A long time.
I've been playing a while, but I don't. It's more of I play on and off. I go on the binges and
you get angry and you stop.
Yeah,
yourself.
rage quit quite a bit. We have LAN parties we do, and so right before a LAN party, I usually binge, and we do them probably once every month, once every couple months. So I'm not by no means that good, considered good. I just it's just fun to play and so.
I had to stop because I hurt my hand too many times playing that game. I would hit the wall. Let's see. What is your most and least favorite design feature of this build?
Oh, great question.
Oh, wow.
What's your least favorite?
We'll start off with some
Remember, I'm
negativity.
here.
So start off with some negativity and then bring in the positivity. So that's
I thought it was
people
the other way
remember.
around. You're supposed to be like
No, because then
the last thing you want them to remember is the positive. So
Okay.
Umar's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
He's been very, very well trained.
yeah, I always start off like, what's the thing that you hate the most? Like my life, and then I said, but I have such a nice smile.
yeah.
And everyone remembers that part.
What's the most? Oh, man, I gotta watch because a lot of things that.
I'll tell you what I hate.
All right, let's
No
hear.
one asked me, but while you're thinking, Chris, I'll buy you some time. I hate all the labels that we have everywhere.
Labels as in like this here?
Not on the
Or
outside,
just-
but on the
Yes,
inside.
yes.
I wish
Oh, on
this
the
was
inside.
just clean. And it didn't say made in China and have all these barcode labels. I mean, we do it for support,
Yeah.
so it's easy to support the machine if we need to. But I just wish it was all jet black and elegant and clean and
Yeah.
no white labels anywhere. That's just
I think that's
minor
a good
little
one.
detail.
Yeah.
Buying you some time to come up with your answer.
You're
politically
I
correct.
think
Let me
it's.
not piss off Alienware answer.
I think it's an amazing looking chassis on the inside. I guess what I would like to figure out is how to get a clear side panel, right?
A clear side panel.
And then we
yeah.
can illuminate the inside. It's very difficult because we have regulatory requirements to meet. And, so
Are you trying to pre-announce something right now?
He's not trying to do any of that
didn't
because
know-
last year we had people custom build their systems and they put in clear side
Well, you can
panels
go to
and
Best
stuff
Buy
like that.
and you can see a clear side panel on Area 51. Did you know that?
did not know this.
Yes, you can.
Really?
We don't
I didn't
sell
know
it.
that
You know
either.
this?
I
Oh.
We
don't
don't
know
sell
it
it
either.
yet. But you can go to Best
I
Buy.
didn't-
Let me just mute this microphone.
Yeah, so
you guys have been asking me a lot of questions on Twitter and Reddit that I've been vaguely answering. Let me
These
just
are the
mute
things
this.
I can come on here to.
Frank can just say
to
whatever.
reveal.
So
Yeah.
if you guys want to listen real quick, just
But if you go to one of the 50 Best Buys in the U.S. where we have our setups, you can see a clear side panel.
That's right. For those of you that don't know, there's 50 Best Buys within the United States. There's now an Alienware experience area. So if you want to actually see an Alienware product, mess with an Alienware product, and just kind of see like the idea and everything about it, you can pass by Best Buy and take a look at it. So what is your
The favorite
Yeah.
thing is the
Yeah.
performance. Like I said earlier, we validated this with three 350-watt cards.
Yeah.
No throttle. It's a beast. It's powerful.
Yeah, and the way you did that at the noise level that you guys designed it at, that's the part that has always impressed me. I mean,
That's one thing about this. You don't ever hear it. Like you
this
never
and the
hear it.
Aurora, they're unbelievably quiet.
Good.
And
Yeah.
I mean, you should. Well, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the magic that took. I mean, the engineering and the development it took to design it to be as quiet as it did. But I remember 10 years ago putting half, if not a fraction, of the performance that we have in this stuff today, and it sounded like a freaking jet taking off. It was horrible. You guys have come a long, long way since then. Just the quality and the engineering rigor that's gone into making sure this thing is going to be top notch.
Yeah. So we do put these big fans in there, and they only ramp when they're needed, right? So they only spin up and get loud when there's a temperature sensor saying, "Hey, cool me down." We do go and we work very closely with the fan vendors.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we have the low RPM, when we're at lower RPMs, that we make it as quiet as possible. And that's another lesson learned from our predecessor products.
Yeah.
And that way, if you're surfing the net or doing email, your system doesn't need to be loud.
Yeah.
And so we try to keep there's a lot of engineering work that goes into the acoustics part of this too, and that's also what I'm responsible for. So, we do those two do tied to get those do tie together. So getting
Yeah.
tongue twisted while you guys are watching.
Don't get nervous on camera, man.
So
Oh, hey,
All right,
Ernie.
I'm done
Yeah.
heckling. I would shake your hand, but I don't want to block the camera. It's good to see you, man.
that's good to see you.
Later.
I'm not going to shake your hand.
Yeah, done. Our hands will get stuck.
Well,
So
I like that last question there. They would believe. How long was this in the making? How long did it take us to develop this? Wow.
this was 3-4 years. in the
Yeah, it
making?
took at least 3 years.
Mhm.
I mean, it was conceptualized, and yeah, Frank's gone. Bye bye, God. Yeah. So yeah, it took like about 3 to 4 years to make this. And a lot goes into it, from a mechanical design, electrical ID. We have we have really good mechanical, electrical teams. Our ID team's awesome, and they're really the ones that came up with this triad concept. But when you come up with something like this, it just there's a lot. We have to figure out how to tool it, how to structurally maintain it. The rigor that goes into designing it, it just takes a while. And so,
Yeah.
it took us quite some time to, and then after we hand it off, after we do all the thermal validation, there's at least another year that goes into it. Just getting the tools ready, getting it ready to go to a customer, final validation, making sure all the software is going to work with it. So it's
Where's your mechanical team based out of?
the system architecture team is based out of Austin,
Yeah.
Texas. Just with the mechanical, thermal, electrical ID out of Austin, and then we have marketing in Austin and in Miami.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, I think we've been going at this for an hour
I
talking
know.
about this. I think that you want to play a little bit of League of Legends,
Yeah, we can.
and I have it set up over there for you, actually on the end computer because they were using these. But I can set up those cameras. So do you have any last final thoughts? Any last things you want to say before we switch into game mode?
This was fun. I had I'd come on whenever you guys want to hear about, talk about the thermal management of a system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also worked on. I was a thermal system architect for the new Aurora and the predecessor, and also the Alpha. So if you guys ever want to have one of those discussions, let me know, and I can come in and talk about how we came up with those designs, and similar to what we've done here, and then play some more video games.
So that's the thing. If you guys have ideas for tech shops that you guys want to see, go into the Tech Talk channel on the Alienware Discord. You can talk about technology there, all about Alienware products, all about any technology, really. And throw me some of your suggestions on what you want to see on this stream on our Tuesdays. And you know what? You know what I was told? I don't need to keep this to a Tuesday. I can do this whenever the hell I want.
Oh, really?
So we're going to do this whenever the hell I want. So you guys give me your suggestions and we can start setting up some streams. So I'm going to quickly take us to our BRB sign. And yeah, so Chris,
Good.
we'll see you now over here.
Sounds
Be right
great.
back, guys.